If you've ever struggled with productivity, this video is for you. We are drowning in productivity hacks, apps, and time-blocking tricks. But if those really worked, why do so many people still feel stuck? The real problem isn't your tools, it's inertia. Most people never start because they are waiting to feel ready. But here's the truth. Success doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from discipline. In this video, I'll show you why waiting for motivation is dangerous, the simple mindset shift that breaks procrastination, and how you can build discipline so productivity becomes effortless. So let's dive in. The crisis of productivity. So we have this productivity mania. We are all striving to be more productive. We have so many productivity apps, calendars, organizers, methods to get done more. But the reality is that when it comes to your big dream, your business, the idea that you want to build on, the book that you want to write, the project that you want to monetize, something big that you want to do with your life, or even start a little side gig. For a lot of people, productivity is not the problem, because the problem is actually getting started. And the reason why most people don't get started in the first place is because they are looking and waiting for inspiration. And that's a dangerous word. Everybody waits for inspiration. Everybody waits to feel like it. You know, when J.K. Rowling was writing her first Harry Potter book, was looking after her child, living in a council estate, barely surviving and struggling. You know, I doubt she was waiting for inspiration. That was her discipline to get up every day. That was her discipline to go to a nearby cafe, order a cup of coffee and write whilst her child slept. For most great entrepreneurs, it was waking up every single day and getting started. I personally, for the past 15 years, without exception, I would wake up every single day, not at 5 a.m., at a reasonable hour. Whenever, I woke up, my first thing would be to get to my desk and work, because I knew I needed discipline. And discipline is antidote to seeking inspiration. Discipline is where inspiration starts. No great athlete in history is sort of there on their sofa waiting for inspiration to strike, waiting for that moment when I don't feel like scrolling anymore and I might as well now go and run 20k, 30k, or I'll dip in the pool and swim 20, 30, 40 miles or whatever that day and sort of completely exhaust myself to the levels beyond measure, because I may just have inspiration to compete in the Olympics. Nobody really thinks like that. Everybody has to have discipline. Everybody starts with a level of discipline, routine, and rhythm. These are the three things that will get you started in life before you need any productivity tools and productivity apps and productivity methods and waking up at 5 a.m., 7 a.m. or 3 a.m., whenever you want to wake up. But you need these three things. You need to constantly get to your station of craft. So whether you are a writer, an athlete, an entrepreneur, whatever you're pursuing in your life, you need to get to that station of work every day without negotiation. And once you get there, you need to start working on something, right? So what happens there is that you are no longer really waiting for inspiration. You are showing up. And I've seen that time and time again, when I started my first business and I had one client, to show up at your desk and work on something felt almost demotivating. Like I have one client, what am I going to work on? Like I might as well go and get a job. Then the business has grown a little bit, but then again, what am I doing here? Like I would be caught up in this sort of self-doubt for quite a bit. But then, like 5 years in, I realized that had just become my nature. That I turn up and I show up and that I can rely on myself. And this is the most important thing in building any business. And this is why a lot of people do not succeed in creating a business, running a business, is because we as a society were conditioned to live and work under the industrial system, where we had quotas and deadlines and bosses and people above us ruling over us, and us just following the rules. The reason why fascism and the extreme regimes are very rampant, because people are longing for direction, clarity, and being told what to do, because a lot of people are unable to handle their own freedom. And what is running your own business is being able to handle and manage your own freedom. And how do you get to that point where you learn to manage your freedom, where you learn to get started and break out of that inertia and break out of the pattern of looking for inspiration? There is one simple exercise that I do that is really, really helpful, that I find has helped a lot of people that I taught this exercise to. And that is, when you get stuck in this moment of procrastination, or I love to call it inertia, because just that word inertia is really good. For me, inertia has this gooey and sticky feel to it, because you just, are there caught up either in, like say scrolling on your phone, caught up in not being able to get started, caught up in the fact that, you can't just stand up and go to the gym, you can't get started on your new project. You're caught up in that state of inaction. And the best way to get out of it is to simply, instead of trying to go and build $1 million business out of your sofa when you are just, eating popcorn and unable to switch off Netflix, the best thing to do is to find a bridge, to find a transition to the state of action, to the state of discipline, to the state of a rhythm, to the state of working. And the way you do that is, for example, you're there, you're scrolling, and you're unable to really break out of that cycle, or you just can't get yourself to do something that you need to do, that you want to do. You want to pick up your notebook, open a notes app on your phone, start writing about what you're doing right now. Like, just describe what you're doing right now. I am scrolling right now. I am looking at Netflix. I'm watching Netflix. I am, just procrastinating. I feel demotivated. Just write everything out that's happening in that very moment and what you feel in that very moment. Just keep writing. Keep writing. If by then you're not getting the impetus to get up and start acting, start doing something, what you then proceed to write after you've described and written out all your emotions and what you're doing in that very moment, you start writing your future vision. Like, what do you want for yourself? What do you want for your project that you may be thinking of? What do you want for your business, for your next endeavor? What is there that, what is the future vision? What are your future ideas? Like, how do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years, even a year down the line? And you start mapping that out. You start writing about it. And even if you had written the same thing yesterday and the day before yesterday, you still write it. And what happens 9 times out of 10 is that you break the pattern of being stuck in that gooey, sticky procrastination or inertia, and you are able to see what's possible for you. You're able to see how action starts, how productivity starts, because this is where productivity starts, but you seeing your future vision and you taking action towards it. You're wanting to be productive towards a goal. You see the path of how to get there, what to do there. So you take that, you go from that point of writing your future vision into standing up, going to your desk, going to whatever, the gym or whatever your big goal is, right? And starting acting on it and building on it, because you had created that bridge between the feeling of inaction, the feeling of inertia, the feeling of procrastination, and that thing that you want to do. And this is how you then start training yourself to get to that, as I said before, the station of your craft, and start building the habit of discipline. So you're not building the habit of inspiration, the habit of how to be super nice to have this and to have that and to build up this and that. No, you're building a habit that is very tactical, strategic action that you take every single day. You turn up to your desk and you enable and empower yourself. And this is where you go away from that idea that there will be a boss and there will be a deadline, there'll be a mentor, and there'll be somebody else, or your mom or your dad or your granny or your partner telling you to do something. You are now empowering yourself. So this little exercise does wonders to get you to that point. And once you are at the point of discipline, at the point of working, at the point of acting, you can then seek out productivity tools. You can implement a good productivity method that works for you. And it might be waking up at 5 a.m. It might be working at, 9 p.m. after your children have gone to bed. But that's irrelevant. That is details. You want to be able to create the habit of showing up. Now, once you do that, and once you've gone through the process, you would have done another very important thing, is that you would have elevated the level of your awareness of how you work and on how you created your own discipline. Because the key in building a company, key in becoming great in whatever you do in your industry, is having a certain level of awareness that helps you guide yourself, that helps you understand the parameters of your freedom and guide yourself in that, meaning that by you really understanding how your procrastination and inaction and inertia works, meaning that you're there, scrolling whatever, and then you get yourself to the state of acting, you know how you got yourself there, and then you then are able to start building up a certain level of discipline that enables you to really be aware of yourself, because you are with that moment, with the moments, with that act of writing, that act of thinking through that situation, you increase the level of awareness, you increase the level of, understanding who you are and how you operate, and then you start guiding yourself, right? So then you start laying the foundation for success. And you start laying the foundation for all the productivity advice that is out there. But the key thing will then be the discipline, the routine, you showing up regularly, the rhythm for you to sit down and implement and work on a project, on an idea, day in and day out over a long period of time. And this is the key to any successful business, any successful enterprise project that you may think of in life. And this is the key of achieving anything in life, doing the same thing over and over and over and over again until you get outstanding results. And most people can't last the course. Most people are impatient. So I really encourage you to find that patience in yourself to build up something for you that is incredible. I've done it in the past 15 years where I showed up day in, day out. And I believe I've created something that I'm really proud of, that has given me a tremendous amount of freedom, wealth, inspiration. Inspiration came later, it's there. But I started off with something that laid the foundation for something great to happen. So how are you going to shape your own life and your own habits of discipline to be great?